All right, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Fantheon. Emma's back on the show. No guest this week. We are going to be talking Ultimates, the new issue, the Ultimates #4, Batman 49, the next to last issue of Super Heavy, and the latest Jughead, which is like one of my favorite books. I would also like to begin this episode with a tiny microscopic rant.
Ruh-roh.
People do not ever wear camo unless you are in the woods running from animals. It is the worst fashion choice ever.
But Logan, you could catch these hands right now. Like, okay, I get that you're like in you're in kind of like redneck country.
It's not really redneck country. It shouldn't be.
No, but like I get you, but I don't know. I mean, I can't like I live in a city that's very like punk. Like we're punk out here, so like camo has like a different.
Punk Canadians. Oh my god.
Yeah, like Vancouver is, it's a pretty. There's some pretty good punk rap out here, but yeah.
These
so like
people are not punk. They probably don't know like these are not punks.
no, I know and I get it, but to me, but there's different kinds of camo. There's like your like your classic camo. That's kind of the round, kind of cloudy shit. But then you've got that like what the army uses these days, which is that kind of like pixelated looking shit. And then you have like the cracker ass hunter stuff that like it's just like patterns of tree branches and shit.
Oh yeah, the tree
like
branch is the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the tree branch shit, like yeah, don't be wearing that unless I don't know you're going to visit Stone Cold Steve Austin on Broken Skull Ranch and actually gonna go shoot yourself a deer. So that one, yeah, don't. The pixelated stuff, that to me, that's still it's a little bit too like in current army, it's not that fashion. Maybe don't. But like the old school shit that's not in actual like circulation as being used for like actual camouflage, then like yeah, that's fashion.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's okay. Like for like jackets with some cool patches and stuff. Like I can live with that. But yeah, there's the branches. I'm just like I'm like nice trying to blend in.
Yeah, the Duck Dynasty
strip mall.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay. So, Terrence, what were your and what have you been writing on the internet, and just promote yourself?
Okay, well, first my Twitter at SAGETERRENCE. You can catch me at Sinclair.com where I'm talking about like cool internet people doing their thing. Pop Optic where I'm reviewing comics like us just a worker. Try to do two a piece, and then now, most recently, Dead End Hip Hop. So I'm firing on all fronts: music, nerds, and the culture. So yeah, and then you should definitely be reading They're Not Like Us and Low from Image. I love those two books. They're like sleeper hits.
I knew Low would be on your list this week.
Yeah, and they're not like us. It's like the X-Men, but it's just so twisted and wrong, and I love it for that. For DC, read Batman 49. We're gonna talk about that later.
Obviously.
Green Lantern Corps because it has to get better sometime. Hopefully, Rebirth does a little something.
Oh my god.
Marvel, my child in book form. Totally Awesome Hulk's not bad. I like the art that's keeping it up. And
until Spider-Gwen cameos anyway.
God no. Please no. I hope that's not happening. Why? And then shout out to Deadpool #7 because Deadpool turned 25.
Hey, is that actually a good issue? Like
I found it funny because it's Deadpool versus Sabretooth.
Ooh. Is it
Well,
it's
actually
kind of like a good jumping on point?
Kind of. The recap page helps, and he goes like he had a little therapist moment, so he catches you up and everything. And it's some funny visual gags, cause like Sabretooth called him a Slade ripoff, and I found that funny because it played on it what DC did. So yeah, that's all what I'm doing for the week.
And Emma?
Geez, what a long list. You can catch me on Twitter.
That you haven't read.
Yeah. Well, oh wow, this is we're going there, are we? Man, I'm gonna need a couple towels because someone spilled their tea all over my lap. But Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, EMMAHOUXBOIS, where I'm basically talking shit about fashion. I think lately is what I'm letting people have it over. And just who knows? I don't know. Someone's talking about me somewhere though, because I'm getting a ton of new follows and stuff. So whoever out there it is that likes me, awesome. But yeah, no, I'm going to be returning to Pop Optic for the first time since I think I reviewed Airboy #1.
Well, you did that Fight Club.
That's right. I did the Capsule Fight Club too. Okay, so I redeemed myself on that one. But yeah, no, I'm going to be coming back with the A&W, not the Bear, the Wolverine, which is a dope series. I'm really excited for this issue. But yeah, so all new. Like I'm catching a lot of stuff right now. So all new Wolverine, Jughead, Black Canary. Comixology's been fighting me all day, so I actually haven't been able to load it yet. Starfire, it's Elsa Chautier's debut over there. Like it's her first DC work, her first big work since the Infinite Loop Wrapped. It already looks gorgeous. I mean, you gotta love her. Her choreo's great. It's gonna be a fun issue. The brand new Vertigo series, The Dark and Bloody. This one caught me by complete surprise, and you know, life is real good when you're on the DC physical list because it came in my group on my stuff this week, and I took a look and I was like, hey, let's check this out, and it's surprising. It's good. I mean, it's some kind of low down Stephen King style stuff, and then the horror element just kicks up at the end. So I mean, it's going to be a good one. I'm going to be hitting that for Pop Optic as well. Got a lot to say about a great start. Vertigo is like they're vibing again. I'm really coming around to what they're doing.
Yeah. There's a new Romancer coming out this week as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I haven't hit that one. I think I'll wait for a couple issues and catch that on a slow day because I know that's your jam. That's your world. But
yeah, I mean it hasn't hit in its peak yet, but definitely the tools for some hilariousness and romance are there, and especially Valentine's this week. They might go.
No, Valentine's are for suckers.
Oh, I fucking hate Valentine's Day. It's like the worst holiday ever. I'm so glad like Deadpool's coming out in the NBA All-Star game.
And Walking Dead comes back on Valentine's Day, so that is very appropriate.
Yeah, I'm glad NBA All-Star Weekend plus Deadpool gave me plenty of diversions.
All that you need to justify Valentine's Day's existence this year is the Gem special.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay, we got that.
I have 3 words for you, my friend. Jen Bartel Interiors.
She's doing the interiors?
Yes.
Okay.
You haven't read it yet? Yeah. She's not just on the fried pie variant. She's like interiors. Jen Bartel Interiors.
Did you draw the entire book?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was Cornhouse. Solicit's lied.
No, it's Jen
Everybody,
Bartel.
I'm fake excited for if you're watching, like when you listen to this later, I'm fake excited for both of them.
It's not her like hyper rendered cover style stuff. Like this is a very different.
Oh, it's good. I mean, it's good that she's doing that because that wouldn't work as well in like sequentials, I guess.
No, it wouldn't. So it's fun to see her adapt, and I mean. She's been kind of I don't know, nervous I guess about it because of how much different it is from her cover work, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and she's really kind of moving into kind of a zone similar to oh gosh, what's her name? Brittany Williams in kind of how she scales her cartooning and kind of goes for a little bit of a chibi flair. It's great. I mean, I wouldn't trade her large style illustrations for the world, but it's really fun, gorgeous. Her styling is as fun as ever. Her Kimber is really great. The pizzazz is gorgeous. It's fun. Like she really like the real kick in the pants that you get from a Sophie Campbell issue on the series. You really get from Jen. I mean, she's still new-ish at doing like full backgrounds and stuff like that, but you really get that get the punch. It's great fun.
Yeah, I didn't know she was doing full interiors. So that's a nice surprise.
Yeah. I think that was because I know I read a Gem issue in the last couple of days that was Jem Bartel in it. Let me reopen it here. Yeah, this is. Let me just make sure I'm not talking out my ass because now you got me questioning myself when I was looking forward to this.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm reading it
Kill
again. No,
Logan type
thank you
slowly.
for making me question myself, you dumb solicitous. But yeah, no, it's 110%. It is 100% a rattlesnake. It is Jen Bartel herself on Interiors. But no, it's gorgeous. I'm flipping back through and you're gonna die. It's absolutely great, especially if you love the whole thing about bagels. Um, but it's
Oh my gosh.
yeah, the best use of synergy um, overall, really, in the entire series. And this is, I mean, I've been cracking on the pacing a little bit um, on this title, but like this is just a real kind of let loose issue for Thompson, and she really brings the heat. And Jen and her style just play to the tone of this issue so well. I mean, it's as a one-shot standalone, it's a ton of fun. You're gonna die.
Yeah,
It's
I love these the gym annuals more so than like most of the like art exclusively.
yeah. I hope that we're gonna get some more um, interiors from her down the line for sure.
Yeah. Um,
Uh, Harley Quinn's Little Black Book, good fun, not in love. I mean, but anything's gonna come down from Amanda Conner doing Wonder Woman. But if you want to see a lot of jokes about Hal Jordan and what a tool he is, it's a great read. I mean, the last sentence in my review was that it's the most fun I've ever had with a Hal Jordan comic that he doesn't die in.
Hey.
Man, Hal can get it, man. Like,
Okay, I'm not gonna, because lately with Renegade, not gonna knock it because I don't know what's going on. Because like, why, why? But I just want Hal to be back to how he usually was, and he needs to cut his hair, then get back to Earth. He's been away from Earth too long, and I need my proper justice back.
I mean, it's to me when I rank the lanterns, like the guys that I read and can excite me and be interested about. And I know there's a shitload of good Lantern characters that I don't know anything about, so don't take this as definitive, but just as a window, Guy, Kyle.
Oh God, Guy is the Jason Todd of the Green Lantern, so he's a trash can.
He's more of a tool than Jason.
he's really
He's a bigger
fun.
tool than Jason.
I just don't like Guy at all. Guy is my number one for trash lanterns.
Oh, he's great in
Yeah,
it.
but that's why
like-
I like him. Sorry, John before Kyle.
Hal and John are competing for first. Kyle because he had the White Lantern upgrade. Baz, but they haven't done enough with him.
Yeah,
Mogo, Kilowog, everybody else, then Guy. That's the order.
Yeah, to me, Hal is below Nort.
Wow. Incredible.
And definitely below the Squirrel.
Abin Sur is where you're at, where it's at. You know that
You
guy.
know,
You mean the guy that existed for 5 seconds and then just kind of...
I mean, I know the name when you say the Adventure, and I was thinking to myself, isn't he supposed to be badass? But I don't know who the hell he is. And there's that one chick who's cool too. But again, I don't read enough Lantern comics. I mean, when I talk about my order of these guys, I'm not even talking about New 52 because I haven't read shit for shit of Green Lantern comics in New 52.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
when Jeff left, I slowly just like, wow.
It was cool when Sinestro was a Green Lantern in the like New 52. That was cool, I guess.
But I mean, like I said in my review, the first DC comic I ever got was his like post-crisis origin where he was like in jail for a DUI and like Sinestro like busted him out to train him, which I mean that's got to be one of the weirdest Keith Giffen stories ever because it's like, okay, we're gonna break you out of serving jail time for a DUI so that we can train you to be a space cop. But I mean, I guess if you look at the kind of police that the States has right now, that it maybe is the most realistic cop
I've never
story
really
ever.
trusted those Guardians. There's just something about them. Just
Yeah,
Well, that
that's
and they're all kind
honestly
of
though. Yeah,
dead. They're all kind of murdered and.
I am skeptical of the Green Lantern Corps. I think that yeah, I mean I'm skeptical of them the way I'm skeptical of cops. Do you know what I mean? It's always a concept that doesn't sit right with me.
Because
Um,
they don't even do it half the time, and then when they do it, it lasts for a few issues.
yeah,
I liked Kyle Rayner in JLA in Grant Morrison's JLA. He had some cool constructs, I guess.
yeah, and
Yep.
they make fun of Harley makes fun of how Hal doesn't have any imaginative constructs. Um, which is great. But yeah, but there's that. But I made a couple jokes about his new Frontier origin and the typical origin. I don't even know what his new 52 origin is, to be honest. He's
It's
just
the
a
same.
test
They
pilot
keep
of
it.
Ferris.
No, it's
Oh,
the same thing because they kept it like Batman and Green Lantern really stayed the same for the new
okay.
52.
Yeah, I think New Frontier, Hal Jordan was probably the most interesting one to me, but again, whatever. I'd rather read John or Kyle or Guy, but it really works for this issue, like the Harley Quinn one, because they're making fun of the stuff about him basically being the Bella Swan of the DCU.
Oh my
That
gosh. That's
that he
good.
gets hit on the head a lot. He's just a basic wish fulfillment character, and that he's always ends up in these bad relationship situations. And it took me a little bit of thinking, but then I was like, wait a minute, wasn't Carol Ferris like as Star Sapphire always like really drawn as this like dominatrix type who would be like,
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, and I looked up the images and was like, holy shit. And so they riff on that with Harley with her red black ring, and so it's so much fun because all of that BDSM subtext lurking in the DCU, they pull it out in the Harley series. So it's great because they started with Wonder Woman, they come in and they pull it out again in Green Lantern. So I mean, and Zatanna is full of that shit too. I mean, it's magic for Christ's sake. It's all about restraints and escaping them and stuff. So that'll be interesting, but it's fun. But unless you're a huge Harley fan or really want to get into some like Hal Jordan jokes, I don't know. Um,
Wow.
it's Welcome Back's trade is out this week, right? Like the We Come Back, the Welcome Back. That one's out this week.
That.
I'm sitting on the trade. There's a bunch of DC trades out this week too. They sent me a bunch, some of them before they came out, so I've been confused about the order. But I think Catwoman is out this week, the end of Valentine's run.
Yeah,
I've had it for over a week
You
now,
did
but
on
I think they sent it
purpose.
to me before. Um,
we're
but
reviewing
there's
everything
yeah,
but with the books. This is incredible.
but yeah. Other than that, Surviving Megapolis. There's the newest James Bond is out. I'm kind of not really digging it anymore, but yeah, I think that's mostly my week. Oh, I'm gonna read Jonesy. Haven't caught it yet, but
Oh, hey, that's a good segue to moi.
yeah.
Uh, okay, so I'm Logan. You can find my work at Pop Optic and Graphic Policy. I'm wrapping up my investigating Alias. I'm doing the final Purple Man arc. I have like 2 more things. I might go on and do the Pulse. I might not. Who knows? Um, Also, this week I'm reviewing Jonesy, which is pretty awesome. It's like pretty actually psychotic, sort of a little bit.
That's a word I've heard a couple times.
Of Scott Pilgrim, but like it's actually the colors are really in your face from Mickey Quinn, and yeah, and it's like kind of a romance story, and yeah, it's pretty fun. A lot of like first person narration, but Jonesy is such a quirky, just crazy, almost random character sometimes. It works, I guess. She like uses the power of anime to make people fall in love. Like just I don't know. It's
Oh yeah,
fun.
the School Spirit. Sorry, the School Spirit trade is out from Rosie
Yeah, you
Press.
can check that out. It's pretty awesome. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. If you liked Hellcat and you have not read it yet, read it.
yeah. Um,
Who's the artist on Jonesy?
oh, the artist, her name is Caitlin Rose Boyle, and she's done some animation work for Nickelodeon. This is really her first comics
Okay.
work. So yeah, she might be one of those like new like talents that Boom discovers, like Ian McGinty, and
Well, actually, I was gonna say, what's her face that draws Giant Days? with
like
John Nelson.
Yeah, there are always like people who like worked in animation and like kick ass at comics, and like
Yes,
the colorist does storyboards for like Cartoon Network shows. And then they do like comics is more their like independent creative work, which is cool. It's like a nice kind of pipeline. Also, I'm reviewing New Romancer this week. I have something about Midnighter coming next week that I kind of want to keep on the DL for now.
Nice.
And this week's definitely my labor this week was, I don't know. I had read some of the Eltingville Club stories, like the short stories, and I thought they were great. Like, kind of, they made me feel really good about like hating like certain kinds of nerds and stuff, and people like gatekeeping on the internet, and people were just, people having like trivia contests in the middle of like crowded areas, like loud and stuff. But I read all 200 pages of Eltingville Club, and by the time I was done reading this and like reviewing it, I like never wanted to pick up a comic ever again.
You should have made sure that you saved Jonesy until after you'd done Elkington Club.
Oh, I did Jonesy first because
that's what I'm saying. You screwed up because you needed something to restore your faith. It was like I said yesterday when I read Batman 49. I drank a bunch of caffeine. I read it. I was like, Jesus, this is what meth is like. I was like fired up. I was ready to punch God or something.
It's insane, but like there's some great catharsis at the end. Some great, like the most annoying character you read about in my review. He's like he's pretty much the internet comments section in a human being. His name is, at the end they're like there's some chaos going on at San Diego Comic-Con or whatever, and he like stands up and says like there's gonna be a Firefly reunion with Joss Whedon, and then like one of the characters is like never yell Firefly at a Comic-Con, and then
God.
And this guy's been like and he's like sees his life like flashing before his eyes, and there's this great moment. He's like, I don't have my Silver Age Green Lantern run finished. Oh no, my dick is still a virgin, wrapped in mint condition in package. And like that line just slayed me. I don't even know why. And I mostly read it like Dorkin's art style. It's like part caricature, part like underground comics, part like Mad Magazine, with a little bit of EC horror for some of this stuff. And it has like a great old school style while like just looking at the dark side of nerd culture. And I definitely want to give it to like every Gamergate member like to read.
Oh man.
Except they'll probably see these guys as like heroes, probably.
Exactly. Well, it's just like Rorschach, right? I'm so glad that I'm a jock and not a nerd. That's all I have to say.
Pretty much. And on like more stuff that people might actually like that I'm going to read this week. New Romancer is. Oh, Ms. Marvel has a new arc. It's kind of been fun seeing her balance school, Avengers.
Miles did it better.
Normal superhero stuff, plus also like she's kind of a pariah in Jersey City because her image got used as a for gentrification without her. So like it's a lot of stuff going on. Let's see what else. Old Man Logan. Hopefully issue 2 will be good. It's like basically Wolverine just unleashed as a killer, like revenge story. Plus Sorrentino's art.
Sorrentino should be on Moon Knight. I will say this to the day I die, unless it happens.
Cool. I'm definitely. Autumn Lands is a solid fantasy book if you're into that, and also animals. Got David Walker on Shaft. That should be cool.
Jumping straight to the furry stuff.
You left that gig pretty much took away, and then probably my last one is kind of like an under the radar book that I really like. I'm not a big trekker at all, but I really been enjoying a Starfleet Academy. It kind of brings like a cute, kind of a not really chibi, but like a cute, like colorful art style to Star Trek, and you get to see like Kirk and Uhura and all those characters when they're young. And there's a little bit of a like time lapse thing they're doing, but I'm just mostly in it for the bright art and kind of just the fun character interactions.
Who's on that book?
I don't even know the creative team. I feel terrible.
Because I know that, again, Jen Bardell has done a cover or two for it that was really cute. IDW is a great place for Star Trek as a license, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, IDW is a cool place. Gutter. There's another book I like from them, Gutter Magic, that's out this week. It's like a kind of urban fantasy, like set around World War II. And they also like bring like new talent, names I haven't recognized really, and yeah. So.
Well, we just briefly mentioned Elsa, who did the Infinite Loop with Pierre Collinet. They kickstarted and then IDW picked them up, right? So, and of course, I mean Kelly Thompson, right, on Gem was her big actually writing a comic debut after. I guess it came out before Heart and Box. Heart and Box was not published yet, but yeah, no, they've had some pretty big debuts over there.
Well, speaking of great comics, me and Terrence are gonna actually discuss one that came out this week. Ultimates number 4. It's written by Al Ewing. Oh, actually, we should probably answer a question real quick. So Cyberpunk would like to ask if any of us were reading New Avengers, and what our opinion. Anybody reading New Avengers?
Didn't pay me enough to read that book.
Is that the one with the cover?
I'm definitely not. I hate that they mess with my team. I know it's so weird because it's Al Ewing, but it's the art, and I can't deal.
Yeah,
I can't deal with it.
I can go with subpar writing and like really good art, but I can't do terrible art and good writing.
Remind me which team this is, because the Avengers breakdown is still confusing the living hell out of me.
It's like Wiccan and Hulkling and Sunspot. It's like the AIM team. Girl, like the lineup's solid. I think She-Hulk as well.
I mean, I'd have to see what they're doing in that title, but that's the real shit mix team where they're all characters who are fun, but you're like, how the hell do they coalesce into something?
It's Sunspot, Hawkeye, Squirrel Girl, White Tiger, Power Man,
Wiccan and Hulkling.
Yeah, Wiccan changed his name to Demiurge.
Demiurge.
Yeah, Demiurge. Hulkling, and that's 7. And they have Pod from Hickman's run.
But what when you say Hawkeye, are we saying Clint or Kate?
Oh, yeah, it's Clint, because he was like I'm the traitor on the team in the first issue. He was like, I'm the traitor from S.H.I.E.L.D., so cross that out.
He feels like the odd man out in this team because this is mostly like kind of, I mean, quote unquote kids, right?
Pretty much, because Sunspot bought out AIM, so he's like his own nation per se, and S.H.I.E.L.D's like, how do we know you won't like snap off and try to go to war? He's like, you don't. So let me do my job and.
So
I think Wolverine, if he was still kicking like regular Wolverine, if Logan was around, this would have been a title for him to anchor instead of Clint as kind of like the old dude who's trying to keep up with all these kids. I mean, I don't know. Ewan could be doing something cool with it, but it's a weird title to me. Is there anything like big popping off in the plot?
I've heard some things.
Avengers of 20XX are there, like 20XX are there. Like they're time traveling, so.
Yeah, I can't get past the visuals. I mean, call me shallow. I just can't.
Who's drawing?
Gerardo Sandoval.
No clue.
He did that like
Apocalypse, for Secret Wars that made everybody look all
really blocky and just like I think he was a big deal like in the 90s, and he hasn't really adapted his style.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Who's that guy in Batman and Robin Eternal that I thought I didn't like that I actually kind of do?
Tony Daniel?
No, I still don't like him.
Whoa,
well, Tony Daniel with the right inker is dope, because there's that one dude from the Balkans who was a really good inker on him that I really like.
Oh, Euphoria? Yeah, that's awesome.
It was, you know who I'm thinking of? Like, I could beam you a picture in his head. His figurative work is kind of weird, but his action shots are really dope. He did one of the early issues when they were fighting David Kane before they didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I can't.
Paul Peltier? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Who?
Is it Paul Peltier? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I mean, he was on Aquaman because he was super clean.
I didn't like his stuff on Eternal. I think because he had multiple inkers, but I liked his stuff on like Justice League United. He did an arc where they went to like World War II. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that was him that did that with like Stargirl and stuff, and the B.O.B.
Yeah, I think so. Him or I think it was him.
Was it? Okay, yeah. I had a completely different style in mind when I thought back to that. But
Travel Coleman drew the first one, which was like in the ocean. Yeah. But the World War II one, which is the superior arc in my opinion, was Pelletier.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, but he had kind of a 90s style that sort of worked for me. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I mean it might be one I might poke around at later because Ewing is a guy who can surprise you on a book because like he took that shit out of the Marvel Contest of Champions video game and turned it into like a coherent like thing for the first couple
Is
issues.
that a good
Ultimates.
comic? Because
I have a friend
That
that reads
comic I don't
it.
know, but what he took from from the comic about the game and put into the Ultimates worked. I mean, he can make stuff work. He's a good dude, and his Loki stuff was great. So I mean, I kind of want to
I
poke
go
around
back
to
to
see
read
what he
Age of
does with.
Asgard. I dropped it off after Axis because that was just a stupid event.
But I mean, I want to see what he does with Hulkling and Demiurge. I mean, I get the name, I get what they're doing with it, but that kid is just gonna bounce from bad name to bad name, and it's just like, I
He
mean,
has Guardian, I guess.
like Asgardian, that like they should have known what the hell they were doing. What's the name of the guy who wrote for the OC that like co-created him?
Oh, Alan Heinberg.
Heinberg. Like really?
Heinberg is gay too. I mean,
I know. I mean, you think like I guess he didn't. Like the kids at school didn't call him that in elementary school, but I don't know. Like I mean, come on, people were making fun of that before anybody even knew he was gay, and then it came out as gay, and it was like you cannot call a kid as guardian, um, you know. But and then he turned out to be Wiccan, and I have a lot of feelings about that. Um, I mean, it's not like overly offensive. It's just kind of dumb and tone deaf. And especially since he's like Nordic, he's Thor. What the hell does that have to do with Gardnerian and Wicca? You're kind of barking up the wrong
which is
tree on
kid.
that
I
one.
mean, I don't know.
But it's also Wiccan is kind of like a brand name like Pepsi or something. Anyway, like it's a very specific thing. It's not just,
Wiccan.
you're not
Magic.
you're not just a spellcaster or witcher. Like it's a very specific mystery religion. So that was bizarre. And Demiurge, so like they're kind of trying to keep him in that whole like ceremonial magic, some kind of ties to Neoplatonic occult stuff.
Gnosticism.
I get what they're reaching for. They want to make him into this kind of Neo Vertigo type of Tim Hunter sort of thing, right? That's what they're broadcasting.
But you need a Vertigo guy to write. You need like a Kieran Gillen to write that.
No, you don't. I think Ewing can do it, but they just need him to have a better
Okay, I know you guys hate James Robinson, but I think he'd be okay.
Robinson can.
He's been doing some like Vertigo.
I don't hate James Robinson because I kind of sort of read Scarlet Witch, so
I like Scarlet Witch.
It's probably a good comic, but honestly, anybody else. I mean,
Yeah, I understand.
If Robinson hadn't pulled that, I would read this book. And the reason I'm not reading it is because he pulled that. But honestly, I think it should have gone to a female writer anyway, because women don't get to write comics like that. You know, honestly, when was the last time that you had a female writer on a big, high-flying, trippy, beautiful occult book like that?
Becky Cloonan on Punisher coming soon.
Punisher, Jesus.
I don't know, man. Like, Caitlin Kiernan, maybe?
Who?
There's a writer, Caitlin Kittredge or Caitlin Kiernan, used to write for Vertigo, but those weren't big books, like The Dreaming and stuff.
Yeah, like that. But yeah, exactly. Like you don't.
Like she was never on like Death or Lucifer or like. Yeah. Okay.
Rachel Doom Patrol run. That's how far back you have to go.
Yeah.
Jeez. But what is going on in Ultimates right now?
Cool. So Ultimates number 4, written by Al Ewing, art by Kenneth Rocafort, colors by Dan Brown. Terrence, this has been your book. You've been covering for Pop Optic. What did you like and dislike about this latest issue?
Well, I liked the fact that it's like a Blue Marvel. It works as like a Blue Marvel personal story because Al's been doing that in Mighty Avengers and then Captain America and the Mighty Avengers. He's always had stories pertaining to Blue Marvel, and we get it more of it because from issue 3 we get Anti-Man. He was in the neutral zone with where the team needs to go to like the outside of the Marvel universe where no one, even Galactus, has gone before. So that's like a pretty big thing, and it's contained because it's a Blue Marvel villain, but then it still pertains to the like overlapping story because Anti-Man is like Blue Marvel's like, I want to kill this dude. He killed my wife and citizens I was trying to protect, and no one wanted to listen to me. So I'm definitely want to kill this guy. But they're like, he's a problem, and what do the Ultimates do? We solve problems. So it's like it's that conflict that Blue Marvel. So I like how it's more personal, but it's still you were getting that big grand story because Kenneth, oh my God, Kenneth Rockford draws this entire book, and well, of course, but like he just owns the entire book. Like this is the most like sound book we've gotten yet. Like he uses every color, and it's so trippy and like the.
Oh yeah. Dan Brown's colors are so. I mean, like the what's his name? The his son. He sees his son there, and he's like this.
Yeah, Kevin, like a Captain Atom type figure is just silver energy, and it's just
Yeah, his
man.
son's like his kind of his conscience, sort of. Like, yeah. One like kind of caveat about this issue is it's very very centered on Blue Marvel, so you have to like know background info about him. And I've read it. I read some of his stuff in Mighty Avengers, and like maybe around like Fear Itself, there was like a mini series I guess I read about him. So I'm kind of familiar. Like he's a hero from the '50s. He's like really old.
Yeah, like that. My Blue Marvel knowledge started in Infinity because when Mighty Avengers was announced, and we saw him at the bottom of the ocean with the Watcher, just looking like, oh, looks like it's time to get back to work, and then that's where like my Blue Marvel knowledge started.
Yeah, I mean, so it's very like you have to kind of know about his background to get what's going on a lot, but also like it's also kind of like just the kind of your basic like making a tough choice kind of sci-fi story.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like this general. Do I kill this guy or do I keep trying to solve the problems like the team has been doing?
but it's like really clever because the like suits they use can like contain him, and they like use them to contain the Anti-Man. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, like Kenneth Rockford design on the suits, and even the 1961 suit, and it's just so big and larger than life, and he just owns this entire book. And I know they're having a fill-in artist soon for a
Yeah,
Galactus
I'm not a
story.
big fan of his figures really, but I think
Yeah.
I like his storytelling a lot, and I like Dan Brown's colors. So it's not like my favorite like drawn book on the stands, but I mean it works for me, and definitely the storytelling works.
I'm not hot on Kenneth Rocafort. We've been through this before, but Dan Brown, I have to say, really like I've only really kind of poked at the first couple issues of Ultimate so far, and it's not for lack of interest. I absolutely adore this team. It's just kind of, my hierarchy of what I get to is indie comics, DC, and then whatever time I have left over is to hit Marvel afterwards, typically. But I do want to catch up on this. But one thing is Dan Brown is like the guy to pair with Rocafort. I mean, they really, really do pair nicely together. And the stuff Rocafort is doing at Marvel, is a lot tighter layout-wise than it was on like Teen Titans over
Or
at DC.
Superman, because that's where he started for me.
Hmm.
Like the Superman stuff, and like sometimes the panels wouldn't use all of the page, so we would get like white just left over. But like in this issue, he uses like every bit of the panels to its fullest effect.
Yeah, but he hasn't been doing those weird little like friggin' hexagons and
Yeah, like their
shit that he
slanted
did on-
panels. Yeah.
like the little tiny ones that he used to do on Teen Titans. Those weird kind of accent
But I
things.
feel like I don't know. He's just stretching. Like this team is like really just solving crazy problems, and he's just like stretching his line.
Yes. It's like, why isn't this team the premier? Like this should have been the team Marvel hyped up from the get-go.
Well, this book just isn't as. I guess it's not as.
grounded and
traditional or
like
accessible, I guess. But
yeah.
it's but the thing is, it's like it's unique. I mean, some of the scientific jargon's a little crazy. It might be too mired in Blue Marvel spec, but it's like way different than just like the paint by numbers, all new, all different Avengers.
Yeah, but honestly, though, in an industry where guys like Jonathan Hickman and like Grant Morrison or Mike Carey or Tom King, where these guys can be the it guys, I kind of have to call BS on the idea of the Ultimates not being accessible enough to be the team in the book. But at the same time, if Marvel editorial had decreed that the Ultimates is the book and the team, they would have told Ewing to go down a little bit of a different road and maybe open things up a little bit more in that aspect. So I think it's kind of one of those things where they do those psychological tests on kids where you tell a kid, oh, you're gifted, and even if they have average test scores, they become gifted. You tell a kid that they're remedial enough, even if they have the same test scores as the kid you told was gifted, they're going to eventually their grades are going to hit the toilet. So it's a little bit of but I don't know. I mean, to me, Ultimates is the premier team book. It's the only one I care about. And I know I'm behind on it, but it's a dope team. Like, this is a really cool mix of people. Because I mean, you have the oddball stuff, but like Captain Marvel, both of them, and Ms. America, like this is cool. And Black Panther, like this is just like that's a team. That's where it's where you kind of question how are they going to work together, but you're not looking at them the same way as you do New Avengers, where like how like this is a shit mix. Like it's like playing I don't know, like a UFO casualty crane game to figure out who's on your team is what that one looks like. Whereas this one, you look at it and you're like, huh, but you get it, right?
Yeah,
Well, here's
like
the thing
once
about
you
Hickman's
look
book,
back,
that, like the team lineups made sense, I guess.
Yeah. This should
Yeah,
be the
Ultimates.
authority.
Ultimates. I just looked at my my pull list, and Ultimates is. I'm reading a bunch of Marvel solo books, but Ultimates is the only team book I'm reading right now.
But they're kind of like the authority in that sense. You look at them and you kind of get that idea of that's what these guys could be, like straight up old school Warren Ellis authority. In that sense, you've got Black Panther that if they open him up right, like are you telling me the Black Panther couldn't be Midnighter?
Oh yeah, I mean, like right now,
kick the
like,
shit
but
out
I
of
think right
everything.
now the Ultimates are kind of filling the role that like the Fantastic Four has filled in the past, but not.
Fair.
They're the kind of missions, at least, not like the dynamic, definitely, but like the mission.
yeah, like they're really scientific. Like once you look like Miss America, like I can just punch my way into a different reality spectrum. I can go down to the most subatomic level of light and see everything. Captain Marvel is like the leading force for Alpha because she's the leader of Alpha Force, so she sees all the intergalactic threats that no one else sees. And Blue Marvel is like Blue Marvel and Black Panther are super smart and can make anything.
And then Black Panther has a leadership abilities too, and so does Captain Marvel. I mean, yeah, it's a really fun. And then you get Galactus is a great wild card showing up at the end. And that like final page, it's like it's like looked like the Watcher combined with like
that's
Captain
Eternity. So it's like
that's Eternity. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like the threat. Well, not threat, but like existence, because they're pushing the boundaries. Like they're going where no Marvel creation has gone before, essentially.
Well, I wonder if Ultimates is going to run into trouble because of the delays on Black Panther. I mean, I know that they're going to be appearing in Black Panther. Like Coates has said that he's going to get to use the Ultimates a little bit. I mean, I guess probably not for a little bit because I'm assuming that he wouldn't want them showing up, or at least for more than a cameo in the first couple of issues, so that he can kind of get some ground under.
Like the Avengers, the all new different Avengers kind of showed up for a few pages.
They show up. They show up everywhere. Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, Nova, their title. They're appearing a lot.
Yeah.
That lineup is like perfect, but just the stories are so.
Why? Like, why are they a team?
the team's great. Like I love the characters. It's so just phone. The plots are so phoned in, and like Wade just doesn't really get the voices of any of the characters. It's just yeah.
With
I
that
would
to
rather
me,
read all of them solo. I like them all more solo.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
but
like solo books. Like I mean, not Noah, but it's just,
I feel like what you guys are saying is how I've always felt about the Avengers as a whole. To me, like the JLA, but because I guess I understand that the structure of the DCU better than I do Marvel, or caught into it better. The Avengers to me never. I was like, this is a team I want to read team stories about. Like when you think about the Big Seven, um, or whatnot. When you look at the, Wasp, Ant-Man, Hulk, Thor, like what we used to say were the Avengers before the movies. Like that group to me, I was always kind of like, yeah, okay, don't get it. The way that I
the only
can get
Avengers
the
like run I
JLA.
really like, other than like Ultimates and possibly Hickman, is like Busaic stuff. But like there was so
Yeah,
much
I knew
in.
you were gonna say that.
Yeah, I liked Hickman. Like
But he had like
was
they had a really weird line. Like they had like Wonder Man, like Beast, Scarlet Witch, Firestar, like really just
Yeah.
weird lineup, I guess.
I read a little bit of John's. It's so funny to remember that John's is actually written for Marvel. I read an issue or two of Chuck Austin's.
Oh god, I don't want
Because
to
you
read
got to
any guys done.
remember when well, I was well, not remember. You got to know that when I was coming into Big Two books and sampling them and shit, um, was right before Avengers Disassembled. So, but I mean, to me, structurally, the Avengers were always kind of like whatever. Like I could get into these guys individually, but as a cohesive whole, it was always kind of like I don't know.
Yeah, I still haven't read much of Bendis's Avengers.
I read a little bit of
Don't.
the Heroic Age, a little bit, the whole time traveling in the beginning, and then I just kind of fell off.
I possibly might read it just for Jessica Jones appearances, but in Luke Cage. But
Bendis, it honestly took a while for him to get the whole non-street level thing under his feet. It's kind of really funny to look at Bendis now as being such an established it guy in Marvel who has done so much big stuff because there was, I mean, obviously the sales say otherwise, but in terms of who the vocal people on the internet at the time was, there was a lot of resistance to him around Disassembled and stuff, and he was a guy who had trouble getting characters who were anything other than ground level to work for him. He really turfed Doctor Strange. I think Doctor Strange is still sitting on a lot of the scars that he was left with in Avengers Disassembled. Uh, Bendis really turfed him, threw him in the gutter. Same deal with Scarlet Witch. He couldn't really get a handle on his character, so they just got dumped on for a long time. And then he replaced these guys with a team that didn't make sense for how you build a team for the Avengers. That there were a lot of ground level guys who could not hit heavy. I mean, Luke Cage is a great character that Bendis hasn't established an intelligent voice for, but you can't. It's tough to put him on a team with those guys because they had who
well,
the hell was
then he put Sentry on the team, and oops, cheating pretty much.
well, that was later, and Sentry is a boring fucking character, but he's the guy that you have to do that stuff. So you
I
have him
mean,
for
I
heavy
guess he
lifting.
couldn't use Thor, and they needed like a.
Right, but I can't remember who the hell was on Thunderbolts at the time. I don't think it was Busaic.
Oh yeah, they're
It
coming
was,
back.
it was
Wiki's
Ellis.
Oh
leading.
yeah, Alice's Thunderbolts is so fun. That was
It got too cynical for me, honestly, but there were good parts. That was during Civil War, but
Osborn and
um,
stuff. Like
yeah, I mean that was the birth of Osborn as a truly great modern villain, but and that didn't really hit its stride until
Dark
Siege,
Reign.
the Dark Reign, sorry. Um,
I think Ellis wrote Thunderbolts in Dark Reign, not Civil War.
no, 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 no. It was before Dark Reign. That was when he was still Osborn was still coming
Oh,
out.
so
Maybe it was during Civil War, but I don't think it was during Dark Reign. Um,
I read all these comics on Marvel
yeah,
Unlimited. Like,
but
yeah.
what I want to say was whoever was on Thunderbolts at the time wrote a crossover when Bendis' new Avengers were new, and then his Avengers just got punked. Like they just got thrashed because of the problem with Luke Cage is he can just get swatted away by Songbird or anybody on that team. They just punk these guys, and you're like, well, Jesus, the whole point of the Avengers was to be the big threat guys, but you lowballed them with Ronin.
That anybody could be at any given point.
Yeah, Ronin, Wolverine, and
Echo,
Luke Cage.
like a supporting character from David Mack's Daredevil, who's like pretty cool character, but like
Yeah.
Now to think about it, that new Avengers was really low.
It was a mess. But you know what? It was a transitional period for Bendis, and he's grown a shitload to come back to where he is now after grinding it out on Spider-Man for so long, and the fact that he came into the X-Men and delivered something worth reading that went places that were good. Holy crap! In 2005, if you said we're going to put Bendis on the X-Men, people would have been, oh, fuck off. They would have just died after the toxic shock from Chuck Austin. But the Bendis who wrote his X-Men run is not the same guy who did Avengers Disassembled or House of M.
I think the problem with Bendis is like his Daredevil, his Alias, like Ultimate Spider-Man stuff is just so good that like
he just didn't have the voice for that other shit yet. He does now. He can do it.
But yeah, X-Men's great because I mean, especially all new X-Men and even Uncanny, he just all those young characters.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It allowed him a better bridge. Maybe he should have done X-Men before Avengers. Maybe I'm bullshitting that. Maybe they should have given him like New Mutants or something and let him tool around with, get that as a bridge. But whatever. I mean, we don't even have to care about Avengers Disassembled anymore. It's so far off the map. It's not even funny that
pretty much.
That transitionary period in his career is over, and we can. It's safe to like Bendis.
Well, you might mine it for some kind of movie idea, but that's probably about it.
Yeah, God, if they go back there, no, but they're using Civil War for that, honestly, so probably not.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit and go over to DC. Finally. So yeah, Batman 49 came out this week. It was written by Scott Snyder and James Tynion with art by Yannick Paquette, probably mispronounced that, and colors by Nathan Fairbairn. So yeah, this issue was
a doozy.
This was pretty much like, I don't know, not like a victory lap, but pretty much like Scott Snyder throwing all his in Paquette throwing all their super cool ideas for Batman on the page, while like getting him to the core of his character for his big comeback in issue 50.
Yeah, they got 2 issues left.
It's still so coherent though. I think one of my favorite tweets from today was David Uzumari's like, what did we do to deserve 2 amazing Batman runs back to back? I mean, the Morrison Snyder 1-2 punch is nuts. I mean, I came in at 40, right? So I mean, I'll go back one of these days and see.
Oh, it's a treat.
It is, but you know what? I think
there's some great parallels between this and a Zero Year, especially kind of like the science fiction elements.
I think a lot of the early going is going to be a rough go for me. I doubt that I'm going to come away with this and say that Snyder started as strong as he left it. I think I'm going to come away with the impression that he grew into this role a lot. I mean, I read bits and pieces of what he did, like when he really started getting going at DC before the New 52. And is it Black Mirror? Is that the one that he wrote when?
Yeah, I still haven't read that. It's kind of crazy, but I haven't.
Yeah, and people were really stoked on that. He did some great stuff that really kind of defined what the Batman role was for Dick. And there's a few keys to what he did here, back in there, but I think really getting under being the man and having an extended Batman run, I think I'm going to come away with saying that he really came into his own, that when he started this in 2011, that what we reached was not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I had no idea this,
Yeah, I think he gained a lot. But it's so cool and so great, and the toughest thing that I had to write on this one was to say, yeah, he stepped up and beyond Morrison. That really, honestly, in the end, with what's being done in Super Heavy here, he has stepped above what Morrison did. It was tough, and it's not because I'm a real Morrison devotee, and whatever Morrison does on a character has to be the best. But it was kind of a tough one to be like, am I ready to say this? Because the Morrison run is almost still fresh, but I was like, no, because he.
Yeah, that's only Morrison was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
They're doing Batman together for like very short time, sort of. I mean,
Yeah, parallel with the Black Mirror, but
and then
I mean,
some of
I
the
think
New 52 Batman with Batman Inc.
yes, of course, I forgot
Because
that.
Batman 18 is a whole like a reaction issue to Damian's death.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. See, I haven't even read Damien's Death, honestly.
the Batman and Robin did a silent issue, and it's just like
Oh yeah,
heartstrings.
laid on that.
Oh
Yeah,
man, one of these days we need to get Terrence into the silent issue of New X-Men.
That
like,
sounds scary. I don't want
Do
to
you know
do
what I'm talking
that.
about? Do you know what I'm talking about, Logan? The Emma Frost Jean Grey issue?
oh yeah, the psychic battle.
Yes.
That's
It's not
how.
really a battle, but the psychic rescue?
Oh,
Yes.
that's so long ago. Gosh.
Oh man, beautiful,
So Terrence, as a
legendary.
known Batman hater, what did you think about this issue?
It's not that I'm no Batman.
I know I'm
It's
messing with
the
you.
it's the fan base. I cannot stand the fan base that thinks Batman can fight anybody and come out on top. Because tell that to the
Well,
Court of Owls.
yeah, but I mean, it's such a goofy little subset of things where people, it's yeah. I mean, it's not the UFC. It's whoever needs to win win for the purpose of the story is going to win. I could write a story right now where God, I don't know. Give me some also ran asshole who doesn't win fights, who has no reason to.
D-Man.
Oh, Dennis Dunphy, man, he's
Just
cool. I
kidding.
like him. Um,
Howard
He's
the
he's a
Duck.
great supporting character
yeah,
in Wilson.
I could find a way for Howard the Duck to beat Superman. I could, or Thor, whatever. I could figure
I
it
would
out.
read that.
Right, exactly. Whatever you need to do, you can get it done. But it's goofy because people have these arbitrary ideas of power levels and stuff. But that's not ever what happens on the page. And that's what bugs me is that that's the kind of mentality that they're really trying to market Batman versus Superman to. It's the ultimate. You know that douchey Lex Luthor dialogue. It's the ultimate
The
gladiator fight of
Son
all
of
time.
Krypton
And it's
versus the Gotham, the Bat of Gotham.
it's
Like
just like,
Superman would high
come
five him
on.
to Jupiter. What are you talking about?
But maybe, but it's whoever the story needs to win. It's not like that. It's goofy to me. It's just like I don't give a shit about that stuff because you know what? I'll go watch pro wrestling. But again, they decide if they want Lesnar to win, Lesnar wins. If they want Roman Reigns to win, Roman Reigns wins. And it's about the story that gets told along the way and the physical feats that happen in the moment. It's not about who catches an L, really, just on strength alone. It's goofy as hell.
But yeah, this book is beautiful. Like I love how like there's all these like alternate universes, but somehow Snyder and Tinian just weave them through, and you had like the basic elements of
Yeah,
who
I feel like
Batman is.
multiversity a little bit, like showing the signals. Like it was like when you open the page in the beginning, it's like a bat planet. So it's like, oh wow, what is that? And then just you get sucked into the elf worlds, like the I don't know what I would call the white and gold Batman.
Oh, I love that design from Packet or yeah, like I actually
Yeah.
I saw
Oh
the
yeah.
preview of this issue back in like a while on Twitter, and I thought Capullo was drawing it, and I'm like, is that the new costume for Batman? That is so
That's
cool.
what I thought when I read. I'm like, is this happening? Like, is this really what's happening? And how did that Batcave get so big? But then I realized, oh no, Bruce hasn't gone crazy yet, so that can't be it.
I was like, man, I didn't know that Batman was one of the Phoenix Five.
Wow. And then like just when it gets to the climax of Julia going there, and the fact that she's related to Joe Chill, so it's like we're getting a remix of Bruce dying, but just up to date and
Didn't
more
we?
philosophical, kind of.
Didn't we already know that he was her dad, though? I
I
feel like
forgot. I
in
completely.
47 or 48 that
I think they really did have a talk about it. Like when
mhm.
Bruce was like, "Will you marry me?" and she
Yeah.
said, "No, because I'm attached to the city." I think I don't know. I could be lying, but I think that's what the general
Oh man.
thing was.
So I love in the final page you get that Capullo jaw back.
Hmm.
Save it for the car. Let's go. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then 50 is just gonna be the best.
Yeah, but then it's like with Detective Comics 27 because I love that story because basically Snyder kind of confirmed that that the cloning machine does work and that does happen. So we technically can get that future where Alfred's always will be there for the new Batman because Batman does need a
Yeah.
Gotham. So
Is
that's
it
kind of
just me, or
cool.
is that alternate universe with like Batman and the like cool like? It reminds me of like Flash Gordon a little bit. I don't even know why.
I jokingly called it Attack on Titan Batman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Because
when he was running up with the wheel into the sky and then it like crashed.
well, the whole thing of there being monsters outside the dome and shit, but the whole
Yeah.
thing, yeah. Um, but but I mean the whole thing. What's really cool is that they let the trippy stuff sit there, but you can kind of know what's going on because the general idea what we're seeing here is that it's quantum states. It's Schrodinger's cat. Is that while they're firing this thing and trying, every single possible outcome is still possible
Yeah, like
because
he can be the bat of Arabia or he can
yeah,
be the bat of solar Gotham City that looks
yeah.
really shiny or he can be all these things, but he
Well,
just like slowly closes the doors and then now he's the Bruce. Well, yeah, the Bruce that we got and need right now.
the desert one that was Gotham. It was just like some extreme ass global warming kind of shit or something. Like that was those buildings that were covered in sand. I think everyone was supposed to be in Gotham City. I think that was the thing because everything was so immutable. There was in every scenario. We didn't see everybody in every scenario, but generally speaking, there were 3 to 4 elements that appeared in every single one. Right? There was some iteration of Joe, Chill, Bruce, Alfred, and Jim Gordon. I think just about the only thing that we didn't see was a version where Alfred was Batman
Oh
in terms of
yeah.
the different configurations. Um, but it was really cool that they let it sit there and you could kind of figure out and understand this wild, trippy element. Um, but that's the thing about how Snyder kept the core of the emotions there. That like in the Morrison stuff, it kind of takes flight a lot of times. You have these gorgeous set pieces, these huge ideas, these broad things going on, but they don't connect back a lot of times. And
Well, he's
that's
been
what's
building these relationships throughout the run. Like
yes.
the Bruce Alfred relationship is just great. I mean,
Really heartbreaking. Alfred is so important because that dialogue, like you're my son, and I don't want to see you go through that again. So
Hmm.
I will not let you do this. Like no matter what you say or do, I will not let you.
it's pretty much like I probably say this a lot, but like it's pretty much like almost word for word from Zero Year when he's like bleeding and Alfred's like you shouldn't do this and this like quest of revenge. You have to like be something more than just revenge and yeah. Gosh, Snyder's run so good. Can people just like forget like Batman v Superman is coming out and just freaking read this run?
I find it funny.
One
Batman
hope.
versus Superman in March. Superman gets his powers back. Batman gets a new suit and comes back. Hmm.
But the thing I love about Batman as a character is he fits in so many different situations and genres and
Yes.
types of stories, and this story definitely plays homage to that. Like you have everything from like a traditional like kind of Victorian detective tale to like your
You get a horror a little bit with Mr. Bloom early on.
yeah and little
And you get the
sci-fi.
progressive era with Jim Gordon, like trying to be progressive and modern.
And that's the element I think where Schneider really separates himself from Morrison. because he can tie those things back in and ground them and keep them there. Where Morrison, these were two guys writing Bruce's midlife crisis, right? Is what these break down to. The Super Heavy and the Return of Bruce Wayne and R.I.P. But they had breakdowns for different reasons and different things. And Morrison to me was more kind of an abstract. It was, what if we imagine that everything counts, and not like a Wikipedia argument, but more of a like, how do we break down all the Batman stories for them to make sense, have all happened to the same person? And I think it was where he really, really laid this down, was on Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman interview. And
it's a really good podcast, by the way. I mean,
it is. I'm not a big Kevin Smith fan, but it is. But he had said, here's like the golden age stuff. It's like, right, so you've got your Grant Morrison voice. I'm not going to do it, but and here he is in his 20s. He's starting out. This is what he's doing. This is his emotions. Blah blah blah. And he gets to like midlife with Jason Todd, and so he kind of almost rationalized the evil, mean Judd Winnick Batman and the Bill Willingham one as making sense, which God bless him for doing so. But it was kind of like that was why he was taking Batman at his nadir and pushing him through this midlife crisis. But it's all very abstract. It's all very kind of navel-gazing the way that Morrison stuff can be, that it was just about Bruce and his midlife crisis. Because the real high end of it, of realizing that it wasn't this rugged individuality thing, that he was never alone, and that he had help in a family. The real hard-hitting points of that weren't anything that Morrison wrote. It was Brian Q. Millen, I can't remember the artist's name right now, but I mentioned him in my review, who did When Stephanie Brown Backhanded Him, Bruce, and that was just the boom and the crowd goes wild moment.
And like Snyder's been doing these, has had these great like family moments throughout his run, especially in the two Joker stories.
Yeah, but it didn't. He didn't need someone else in the team, someone else outside to do this, because even on Batman Inc., originally Morrison's idea was to use Musketeer for France, to keep that clowny old guy, but it was David Hine and the artist on that one, and Kyle Higgins, who said, no, we're going to come back and we're going to see what would a Batman in France right now look like, and they came out with Night Runner with Bilal, who they need to return to publication, because look at the world, look at France. We need this guy back right now. This is how prescient he is, because that was back under what's his face, the guy with the huge watch and who married Carla Bruni, that French president, Nicolas Sarkozy. This was under the Sarkozy administration, and the riots and stuff that gave birth to Bilal. But again, like Morrison had the setup, but it was Hine that made the execution. Whereas when we look at all this stuff with Duke Thomas, right, and everything that has been built with Duke to this point, it started with Snyder and it's ending with Snyder, is that like racial justice has been a tight part of Super Heavy. It's being explored broadly in We Are Robin, but it's the whole weight of it isn't being done in We Are Robin. It's core to what Snyder's doing. So it's still a thing where you go to Batgirl and you get the best Jim Gordon character moments as Batman through.
I mean, we I think that's in the podcast. Like the Bat titles are doing a great job of complementing each other, and they even have like you got Dick Grayson showing up in Starfire and having some nice moments, and Black Canary showing up in Batgirl, and like it's just a great. DC is just slaying with like these interconnected books.
Now, if only they can do that with Superman.
It was a funny. It was a funny thing in that kind of like the golden Batman kind of thing, where that world we opened with. The way I kind of looked at it, I said, you look at it the first time and it looks all cool and beautiful and amazing, like this is the end goal. It looks like at the end of All-Star Superman when he's working away in the sun to keep it lit. He's Mr. Proletarian Hero. That's what it looks like at first, but once you get to this point and realize what the whole scenario is, actually it's Johnny Storm and Secret Wars.
Too soon.
Right. But no, it's It's so cool.
Yeah, and 50. I mean, just letting y'all know if you're listening, I will be returning to Batman. Might be my last time. Might be a new birth for issue 50. I do have another a writer on Batman, but I'm gonna be like, it's issue 50. It's the It's Capullo's last issue. It's the culmination of like.
And then 51, they go out with a bang. The finale.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna step away from reviewing at 50. It's just like it's one of those things where you kind of have to. It's like I said, is that they built up this notion of Bruce outside of Batman over this arc in order to sacrifice him to bring Bruce back. It really does feel like an effigy being burned with this. Hopefully some vestiges of this Bruce that we've seen across Super Heavy will remain. That this
Also,
is
Yeah, like, I want him to be
story
like
is how you
legitimately
bring a
helping
superhero back.
daycare kids.
yeah. But at the same time, they are sacrificing this, and it's an effigy and it's intentional. So I mean, to me, I think hit Super Heavy and step away after 50. Let it ride out. Still read it, still enjoy it, but I think I'm going to be kind of like, good mic drop, like
He's gonna be.
used for Extinction.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually brings me because my friend James in my Facebook group, Comic Book Underground, had a question for tonight. Batman artist suggestions after Snyder is gone.
Oh, writer.
Roger Capullo's gone.
Of the artist, like who do we all think the new artist will be?
Would be or should be.
I don't even know. I would want.
Well, everyone's saying Sean Murphy. I mean,
I don't want that bi-weekly.
But supposedly Snyder's leaving too.
Yes, he's leaving with 51.
he's leaving. It's official.
Yeah, so I don't think Murphy. So I don't think Murphy is that much of a shoe-in. Although Snyder has the pull, we don't know who's replacing him yet, do we?
No.
Who's replacing Snyder?
There's rumors of like Tom King is the big front runner.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so because King and Seeley are saying they're still dedicated to Dick.
Yeah, and that's right. And they have something big coming.
Yeah,
They're leaving Grayson after.
Yeah, but they said they're still.
Oh shoot! No,
They're still doing something with Dick. That's what they said. Is that they're committed to raising Dick's profile at DC. So he's probably returning to Nightwing. They're probably going to do Nightwing.
Like Tom Taylor would be awesome. Tom Taylor would be awesome in any superhero book.
He would.
I want Tony Daniel art.
No, I'm going to say it's James Tynion.
I mean, yeah, he's in the wings for Batman. But I want Tony Daniel art because I just want how that works.
He's already. I've seen his stuff. I mean, he already had his like high moment with Batman R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah, artist wise, I'm trying to think. Artist is tough because I want like it's gonna be. I know it's just Capullo and like his horror.
Batman the animated series ish.
But like with a horror vibe.
Whoever is following them is gonna be under a radar. They're gonna have to.
Well, I know who would be a real kind of dream, but a monthly from them and right now on it would be completely implausible. But Becky Cloonan.
Yeah, artist. Nah.
I mean, if like you, artist wise, I'm saying yeah.
I don't want them to put on the book that they might? John Romita Jr.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I would be fine with Romita Jr., honestly.
You know what? I'm not. I don't know. His Superman book, his Superman art was just not good. I'm a fan of
Superman in general. If it's a Greg Pak and Aaron Cooter, man, I need Superman to get back on track.
But I feel like he's a better fit. I mean, he's a better fit for Batman, I guess. He's done some great work with Wolverine and Daredevil, and I mean, they're different than Batman, but they're more similar in tone. I mean, what
I think was actually really cool, and I mean, it's not something I want to see really ever again, but what I thought actually came out wild was Frank Miller inking over him.
Oh, Romita?
That was cool. Like, you've seen that. That was in the Green Lantern mini comic.
And I think that he might be doing that for there's like a one shot.
Yeah.
You know
that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
That gave Miller years back on his life. It looked like, instead of doing the opposite, where they had on the other mini comic that he drew that.
You know what? It might be cool to get a younger writer like King and Tinian on Batman with like Romita. Like that might be, that could be fun. Which is kind of like, I mean, Capullo's been around for a while, and I mean Snyder. I mean he's been doing like novels and short stories for a while, but was newer to comics back in 2011. So
dude, no, we know who we want on Batman. This is stupid.
Who?
Carl Kerschel.
Oh my God.
Why?
Oh my God. Yes.
Why are we asking ourselves this? Carl Kerschel, because you, as a guy to come in off the back of Capullo, who works as a nice transition but brings his own work to it, it's Kerschel, and he can be the guy that can bring everybody into Batman. If you want to, off the back of Snyder, I mean, Snyder's run is pretty easily accessible, but Snyder and Capullo still kind of had a vibe.
Like they're doing their own thing, because they really didn't they kept up with DC events and stuff, but it's like the Gotham, get away, back away.
But if you wanted to do a Batman book that could really be a wide tent thing and not a real personal vision, a wide thing to get anybody, your dog, your grandma, your uncle.
I think that's what Detective Comics is going to be if Snyder takes over.
I guess, but Detective Comics hasn't really been that. Detective Comics has been these weird kind of little side jaunts to get stuff out in. I think a real broad tent blockbuster, be the #1 selling comic every single month, would be James Tynion and Carl Kerschel with Serge Lapointe on colors. That would thrash. That would thrash. You could
Kerschel is definitely probably, I mean, Kerschel and like Babs Tarr are like my favorite DC artists.
Yeah, but Kerschel
and Capullo.
Kerschel is a guy who I think could bring people in, because he's going to play to all those folks that watch the Bruce Timm shit as kids and want to come in and read a comic. They're going to look at that and they're going to say, hey man, this looks animated, this looks fun, I want in on this. But he's also a guy who has the fundamentals and a look that isn't going to shake up the crusty old guys who can only make sense of Romita Jr. and Andy Kubert and like kind of workhorse guys like that. Kerschel is a guy who can straddle that line and be a great artist and bring everybody in. And
his backgrounds are so beautiful. His like painted backgrounds, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and Tynion again is a guy who writes easily accessible, solid, fun stuff, but he can go to those places. We've seen him do it in the annual on his own. We've seen him do it on his Batman and Robin Eternal stuff. We see him doing it on Constantine with Ming Doyle.
And he can definitely do fun. Like,
yeah.
Batman TMNT is like his fun zone.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. That's getting big. I only flipped through it. But the art's really nice, and I'm sure the story is a setup for them to have a romp, whatever. But Tynion is a guy who can have a voice for the Turtles. And that's the point, is that I think you should have a guy who will write a Ninja Turtles comic crossover as your main Batman dude. Because we've had these two grand operatic visions, these real auteurish like runs on Batman. If we're going to bring up this better, happier, more engaged Batman, let's throw these guys at it. I think.
And let's get the guy to Gotham Academy. I mean,
yeah, I think if you really want to sell a shitload of comics and make Batman what everyone should be reading every single month, everyone,
which people already
two guys.
I mean, people are already.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're doing double shipping or some dumb shit like that, then they're gonna need to tag team people, and that's the problem on a book like Batman. If you get double shipping and stuff, they honestly, like on Morrison's run, and this is one of the things that's also gonna push Snyder's run over the top. Like Snyder in history when we look back in 5 to 10 years, the consensus is going to be Snyder over Morrison. And it's going to be for some pound for pound reasons and some other silly reasons. And they couldn't keep solid, consistent art on Morrison. Like Ed Marvel had issues with that on his new X-Men run too.
Yeah.
I mean, like what's his face, the Igor Corday. I mean, Jesus. You went from from Quitley to Jimenez to Corday, and I don't even know who the hell else was on that run, but it was a lurching monster. Like artistically, Morrison's X-Men was a mess, and his Batman, even before you look at the shift over to Batman and Robin and Batman Inc. and all the junked up ways that the whole full vision came out, it was a shit mix too. You start with Jim Lee, and then you get like Tony Daniel in there, and then you had the guy who remember the issue that everybody lost their shit over because it had a bunch of prose in it? 663.
A bunch of what?
Prose. That was
weird.
Like the 3D models and shit. That guy's a good artist. He's done some fun stuff, but man, people were angry about 663, man. I have to read prose in a comic? That was an awful.
That was me because I used to read novels and stuff, but
you used to read novels.
Novels and manga, and then just slowly transitioned to like, ooh, look, words and captions and books and comics.
People got angry about 663 though, man. Like it was hilarious. I would every couple of years I'd bring up in a conversation with somebody like, remember Batman 663, and we'd laugh our asses off because people got angry about having to read prose in a comic book. It's nightmarish, but it happened. But then you had like Andy Kubert came on for 666, which was the future Damien stuff. But it was just such a. I think Philip Tan was in there somewhere too. They didn't know what the hell they wanted to do with pairing Morrison with artists.
Did some awesomeness for a while.
That's right. He did have that
quietly,
black
like one issue.
Yeah, quickly. Yeah, but that was Batman and Robin though, wasn't it? He did a bunch of shit with Batman and Robin when Dick was Batman, but I don't think he actually did Batman with Morrison, did he?
No.
But that's what I'm saying. It was so uneven and so off kilter. But they really got their shit together for Snyder. Because they pair him with Capullo. This is your guy, right? But then when you have the fill-in artists, and I don't know who all were the fill-in artists, but you had Becky Cloonan, who made history as the first woman to draw Batman, which is nuts. Like closing on the 75th anniversary, you never had a woman draw Batman in Batman. Nut bar. But then you had, because I mean, she's not even anywhere near the first woman to write the Punisher, right? You got Valerie Durazio, you've got Anna Senti, whatever, but
her Punisher story did not get published.
There's all kinds of other great artists on there. Like we had Paquette, we had Jock. They really, really were serious about keeping solid art on Snyder's run.
Scalera came on for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kubert. I'm trying to think of the other artists. There have been a few fill-in artists on Batman, and they've all been solid. Sean Murphy, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to look back because again, I mean, I've only really read Super Heavy and kind of seen bits and pieces of some of the other artists on it, but they got a lot more serious in that, because a lot of guys who had solid runs and stuff just didn't get in the run-up, like in that era when Morrison was on Batman, you didn't have consistent art in the Bat books. Like look at Brian Q. Miller's Batgirl run with Stephanie Brown. Like you had those Phil Noto covers and stuff, but then you'd have like Lee Garbett was here and there on a little bit. Dustin Nguyen was kind of like the last guy who was really kind of got to sit in the pocket and have a good run with it. But they were all over the place in the early issues. It was monstrous, And then you look at the lineup now. Gotham Academy, has had such a solid run. With Carl Kerschel, the new folks there, Mingju Helen Chen, Batgirl, if Babs Tar isn't there, then it's Bangle or it's David LaFuente. They're serious about this stuff, and Catwoman, especially now with Anaki Miranda. It's too bad that Genevieve Valentine didn't get it in this year too. With
Yeah, DC has a solid stable of artistic talent.
Yeah.
Like
they've always had the stable. It's the fact of do you know how you want to use it?
And not give us fill-in artists every now and again.
Yeah, not everyone
You can have fill-in artists, but they got to be the right guys, right?
Yeah, but then they give us the wrong guys, and then I'm just reading my favorite books, and it's just like...
Even on stuff like Teen Titans, when Rockefort was off, they brought in Riken out of like complete left field, but that was a brilliant choice, and I want to see more. But and that was the thing, like Bengal kind of came out of nowhere at DC.
Adventures of Supergirl Chapter 2. That was
well, now that he's on that,
the show's better.
That's a lie. No live-action TV show could be better than Bengal.
The show does cooler stuff with like Martian Manhunter. And
I don't care. Bengal, better than live-action.
Yeah, Bengal's art, but like the story is better.
I could give an F about the story. I'm sure it's a good one, but Sterling Gates, isn't it Sterling Gates who's on it?
Yeah.
Isn't he the one that did? He wrote Supergirl already with was it Jamal? No.
Jamal Eagle, yeah. Well, and also they're kind of constrained. They can't use like any of the big guns. I heard the Flash comic is kind of getting around that by doing stuff with King Shark because they can barely show King Shark.
Well, we're getting a King Shark episode, so yeah, can't wait.
That show I feel spoiled by that show right now.
You should, because Welcome to Earth 2 was the greatest episode yet.
I don't know, guys. There was a Legion ring.
In what?
Emma, we're not gonna do this.
In the Flash, wasn't there? Wasn't there a Legion ring in the Flash?
Yes, there was.
Do you know what happens when they put a Legion ring in a live-action DC show?
We're not gonna do this, Emma.
That's when you jump the shark. You can't bring the Legion into TV.
Was there a Legion ring in the new episode?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Oliver Savage.
You have to look when he goes to Earth 2. You see Supergirl. You see Jonah Hex.
I freaking yelled so loud when I saw Supergirl.
They jumped on that announcement. They was like, "We can announce Supergirl now." Yes, get her.
And she just like flying through. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, we saw Supergirl. We saw Connor Hawk. We saw Jonah Hex. We saw and the Legion ring. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Arrow guy. Whatever. We'll see him in Legends tomorrow. Yeah, but it's insane. Like that. This Batman on Batman podcast with Kreisberg. Like this guy loves comics so much. Like that when he was like a full-time writer in like Hollywood, he wrote comics on the side just for kicks. I mean, that's his second job because he just loves it so much. And his life, pretty much life dream was to do a Booster Gold TV show.
His life dream.
Sci-Fi was gonna do that, and they took an arrow to the knee.
And basically he's like, oh my gosh.
I'm sorry because Terrence, you're the last person I ever thought I would hear that line from.
I love Skyrim.
Oh, did you really? Oh, okay, I didn't know you played.
So basically, Kreisberg is like a virus. Like he came into CW pretending to be like Neo Nolan with Arrow season 1, and then he just basically just wanted to do insane, outrageous stuff like he's doing in the Flash, straight up from the comics shit.
Do you remember the last time they showed a Legion ring on television? It was in Smallville. Okay, that was
those guys didn't care for the source material.
I know they had Jeff Johns friggin'.
But he was just a staff writer. He wasn't
Yeah, I know, but Jeff Loeb was in on that show
Jeff
too.
Jeff Loeb, really? Jeff Loeb? No.
He was, yeah. He was. He was involved in Smallville.
Jeff Loeb does not know. No.
But my point is that the Legion is not something you trot out on TV. They're playing with fire. Don't bring the Legion in.
I think it's just an Easter egg.
I hope so, because this could be the beginning of the end.
Can you imagine Brainiac 5 in season 3? Flash, we need you.
That would be atrocious. I mean, look, they need to.
If any show has a Legion, it'll be Supergirl. We'll have a Legion.
Yeah, I really don't want to see that
On
either.
fucking CBS. So
Yeah, well, they brought friggin' Red Tornado and dumb
You
shit in
Red
there.
Tornado
mean
was not
you
cool. Martian
mean you
Manhunter was
mean
dope.
Dollar Store Vision? Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. No, so Vision. And the Martian Manhunter thing, honestly, is goofy too. I want to see that in Supergirl. I don't know. I mean, Supergirl's not for me. Like, they did not make that show for me.
Uh-uh.
Um, but
I
I
watch it for
just
the connect. It really got more emotional, and I get invested more. Like these last few batch of episodes have been really good.
just get
Yeah,
like
yeah.
honestly, just I mean, I don't know. I don't want a live action Supergirl. I just want to like if I want something outside of a comic, then it's just like could I just have a cartoon where she's got streaky and stuff, you know?
Oh,
I
You
just
want Crypto the Super Dog?
they better have crypto soon.
and Beppo the monkey and Comet, but they could make Comet not a shape-shifting lesbian or whatever the hell it was that they did with the
She lives in a
horse.
city. She's an apartment. They probably don't allow pets.
Yeah, well, everybody, yeah, just well,
Season 3, she moves to Smallville.
Season 3. Whoa, 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 whoa! Is season 2 announced?
Oh, the ratings are great. CBS.
but look, I mean, I understand what DC did with the digital series. Like, they're like, look, Emma's going to start running her mouth about the live action TV show and run it straight off the air, so we got to pacify her somehow. How are we going to do that? I know. Let's make a digital comic with a Bengal drawing Supergirl. That'll shut her up. And it worked. And I will stop running my mouth about the live action TV show because, if the one good thing that it has brought this world is Bengal drawing Supergirl on a regular basis.
Oh, hey, we got to get Lin Lu on here talking CW.
I don't care.
They love
That I'll skip that episode too. You wouldn't need me for that one because I wouldn't have shit to say.
And we might do one for the Flash Supergirl crossover. It's a possibility.
DC owns March, DC 50, Batman vs Superman, and DC TV crossover.
We talked about this last episode.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
but don't they like? I thought, yeah, I don't know. You keep
Plus, all those
saying
issue 50s are coming out that month.
you keep saying March when you should be saying August, but I don't know.
What's in August?
What do you
Oh,
mean? What's
what-
in August?
When DC, 5 years ago.
Just get a mention of a man. Scatterboos, will he do the fandango? Thunderbolts away.
Yeah.
Very frightening.
Galileo.
Come on, what's in August?
Magnifico.
Yeah, I live in the now. Like, it's like so many, like, I'm basically now just, like, getting into Deadpool. So, like,
The 2 days
and
before
you
it
can-
drops.
You can roll right back out again.
I'm going to be Deadpool, and then I'm going to be, like, in the middle about Batman versus Superman. And then I'm going to be hyped for Civil War.
Team Iron Man.
Yeah.
Team Iron
Oh,
Man.
I don't know. I'll watch Civil War, but yeah, I don't know.
Cool. All right, so, yeah, I don't think we're going to have time for Jughead because I, like, work in the morning. And like,
Oh, I forgot we were going to talk
I
about
also have to go see
Damn.
season 3 after class tomorrow. Well, today. So, yeah.
Cool. So just quick social medias. You can
that.
find
Well,
me.
shout out to Archie for, for
Yeah,
letting Zdarsky make the subtext the vortex.
pretty much.
We-
Yeah, you should totally read Jughead. It's like the best thing Archie has by far. Other
Yeah.
than like that actually comes out consistently because after like Archie's really dope, but like I don't even remember the last time an issue came out.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other kind of deal because you've got Frankavilla and stuff. But
But yeah, I
in
mean,
terms of the like this rebooted whatever return to
might
the
actually
direct.
come out every month or month and a half. Like Jughead's, yeah.
What's the story on Betty and Veronica, that Adam Hughes thing? Is that still happening?
Hey, I was actually reading through some like old Archie news, and I forgot like Lena Dunham was gonna do an Archie comic that probably would have been
Lena Dunham?
yeah.
I would have picketed their offices.
But I guess
I would have sat on Jezebel's Twitter account like trolling them until like
yeah, I'm like no.
because we know exactly what that would look like. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god, it would be the worst.
It would be. That's
It'd be like
atrocious.
white feminism 101.
Is it like I don't? It wouldn't even rise to that level. It would just be.
And I know TV people go into comics a lot, but like just no.
I've seen a couple episodes of Girls. I don't need Archie peeing on somebody in the shower. Like that's It's not my life.
We
you know?
need Broad City, since it's coming back in 6 days, to do a issue of Hellcat.
That might be fun. I know they're not even. No, you know who I want to do comics is frickin' Rob Thomas, who did iZombie and Veronica Mars. Like, he could slay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go, because this is a whole nother episode.
But if you're gonna bring someone from Hollywood in to do Archie, it's Diablo
not
Cody,
Archie, just comics
and I
in
will
general.
fight. I know, but I'm saying is that the fact that Lena Dunham was even talking about Archie before Diablo Cody got a shot, like I'm gonna fight
Diablo
someone
Cody.
for that. Are you kidding me? Like, come on.
Oh man,
Like,
dialogues.
Afterlife with Archie, like.
I even watched that like silly ass Ricky in the Flash movie just because she was a screenwriter.
Yeah, I have to actually catch up on a bunch of her stuff and not just watch Jennifer's Body every weekend.
Not watch Juno every week.
Why would you do that?
I've never seen Juno.
That's like her masterpiece.
That's a lie. Jennifer's Body is her masterpiece.
That is her masterpiece.
Or young adult, but.
Oh, young adult's close.
Yeah, Juno, I don't know. I might watch it one of these days, but I could give a
Probably because I just Ellen Page and Michael Cera are so adorable and has that like twee soundtrack.
Yeah, see that kind of twee music, I do not like.
That was so much jam when I was 14.
And Michael Cera has gone so far over the shark for me these days that it'd be difficult for me to even revisit his career.
Michael Cera,
like he's in and out. Like that dude, like I'm done with that whole thing because he never grew or changed. The last thing I gave a shit about with him in it was Youth and Revolt.
Oh my gosh, he was insane in that movie.
That was a dope movie, but like forget Scott Pilgrim, whatever, man.
Oh yeah, Scott Pilgrim. You don't even act. You just seem to be a douche to be in Scott.
Yeah, it's just
Oh my gosh, I need to tweet something real quick.
We never thought about that. I could have a Wicked and Divine experience for Jesus tomorrow, so I'm keeping all possibilities open. Basically, yeah. I could just be at the movies and just watching it. I'll be the last one to like fall out and wake up. It's like, hey, yeah, you're the one. Let's go, and we can start issue 1.
We have 5 viewers on our podcast.
That's 5 more than usual.
5 viewers. Someone has to.
But Yeezy Season 3 basically is like going to see like a Pantheon.
Like it's the Ragnarok.
Yeah, it basically is because you don't get that kind of thing. But good for him for setting this up. It's really cool to have like this simulcast thing in theaters and shit that nobody does.
Live stream from Madison Square Garden, and then we're gonna see it all over the world. 4:15. I can't wait.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Be working.
Anyway. Archie should give me Cheryl Blossom. That's all I have to say.
Yes. Okay. Do social media handles. Sexy Ginger Nerd on Twitter.
EMMAHOUXBOIS.
Since we're all gonna spell it all the way out, at SAGETERRENCE.
I can't just say mine. No one would ever find me if I just said it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's half the challenge, and make them listen.
Right,
so
exactly. That's why I'm hardcore like that.
In 1, 2, 3, 4, click.